Should your parrotlet eat pellets? Parrotlet? Not parrotlet. Parrotlet. Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of The Parrot Bliss Bond. Get your copy on Amazon. I am also a novelist, the author of Cake by the Ocean. Get your copy on Amazon. And in today's video, we are talking about a really great question I got, which is really a controversy I've seen on the internet, which is about feeding your parrotlet pellets. Now, I think the person phrased the question by saying in part, on the internet, I read that I should not feed my parrotlet parrots. And we all know what's on the internet is true, right? Ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, yeah, the only problem is you hear things like, you should not feed your parrotlet pellets. You should feed your parrotlet pellets. And then you sit there going, which one is true and which one is true? Because everything's true. Wait. Okay, that drives me crazy. So, as you may very well know, I do have parrotlets. I have bred parrotlets in the past. I've reduced my breeding. Now I just have a couple of pairs, but I have bred parrotlets. This is my parrotlet Sashi. You may also see Hope flying around and maybe Sushi. This is not my parrotlet. This is my golden conure Bonnie, who likes to be with me. She's always with me when I'm doing my videos lately. I don't know. So what is the 411 on pellets? Pellets are said to, I have heard, be bad for color mutation parrotlets, and I've also heard that they are bad for certain species of parrotlets. So first of all, the information is contradictory. But in any case, here's what we can also talk about and what I do. Now, I have heard, now I've got both my hands full, I have heard that the information doesn't really make sense. I kind of tend to feel like when you hear something like that, there might be some sort of truth, like there's some variation. And so the question is, how do you find that spark of truth in there? Now, to work towards that spark of truth, I'm going to kind of work the other way around by telling you that for me, one of the things that I do is my parrotlets get fresh vegetables every day. I give them a fair amount. I give them about 30% of their weight in fresh vegetables so that they are getting some extra beta carotene, as well any parrot should, so that they are getting some micronutrients, so that hopefully this is contributing to a more balanced diet. I am getting a manicure as we speak. If you need any manicuring services, she charges $50 an hour or some seeds, but I have to approve the seeds. And the reason I have to approve the seeds, all joking aside, is because in addition to those fresh vegetables every day, my parrotlets do have seeds available to them in their cage. And I want to see, oh good, you can see them real good right there. I do a cockatiel mix. Now, I do a cockatiel mix because my avian vet, who is just very savvy, has said to me that parrotlets, she said they need about 50-50 pellets and seeds, and she said, and don't give them, I'm sorry, I said, don't give them a cockatiel mix. So I'm like thinking about her, thinking about the other one flying by, thinking about what I want to say. I get confoozled in my brain. I get feather-brained. My avian vet said the cockatiel mix has sunflower seeds. No sunflower seeds. Why? Because my parrotlets were hungry. I was having to refill their dish. They were getting fat and they were not getting nutritionally satisfied. So with a parakeet mix, what I use, sorry, I'm sure I've confused you by now, parakeet, no sunflower seeds. My parrotlets are very happy to eat, I think, more seeds than I would like, but they are not eating sunflower seeds. They no longer eat so much that I have to refill during the day, and they're not overweight. Hard to tell with something this little. With a bigger bird, it's easier to tell. With a little tyke, it's harder to tell. You were letting me pet you. Go back to pets. You want some more pets? Huh? There you go. Now I'm getting a fluffy cheek, which you might not be able to see. Fluffy cheek. Yes, I love the fluffy cheek. There we go. So between the fresh vegetables and the seeds with no sunflower seed, my parrotlets I feel like are doing pretty good. I do put pellets in there. Why? Because breeders that I know that have been breeding parrotlets for a long time, they do feed pellets. I think that pellets are unfortunately imperative in the sense that they provide a full, good blend and mix of vitamins and minerals. When I've done research as to what vegetables would I have to feed my parrots if I was going to hit all the vitamins and minerals that they're supposed to have in a day, the list was so freaking long that I was like, I can't even, like, I could sit there and make a list of vegetables and figure out which ones, but how am I going to make sure they get enough bites of the right vegetable or that they eat all their vegetables? Like, it's not possible. It's not going to happen. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to give them pellets. It's going to make my life so much easier. And I've had veterinarians tell me that ever since the introduction of pellets, parrots have been healthier and they've been visiting veterinarians less often. So, does it apply to your parrotlet? I think so. And so that's my kind of roundabout way of saying, if you are giving fresh vegetables, giving a seed mix that does not have sunflower seeds, then your parrotlet has 2 parts of what he or she should really be getting every day. In a world that isn't perfect, I don't know that this is perfect, but the third part of a diet for me is the pellets. Now here's what I do, and it's probably imperfect, but I'm doing my best. I refine. I'm constantly trying to improve my parrot's diet all the time. But what I do is I put in 2 no-mess seed feeders. I put in no-mess seed feeders because otherwise my parrots make a mess. So the no-mess seed feeder, if you haven't seen my video on them, it's like a cube, but one side's open. So they can step into the cube, and at the bottom is their food. They tend to like to go in, it's funny, they like to go in and look around from the cube because the view is so different than it is from their cage. I mean, it's like the same view, it cracks me up, but they like to do that. But they can go in and they can eat their seeds in one and their pellets in the other. This allows me to monitor how much they're eating of one versus the other. I like it, it works for me. They definitely eat more seeds, but it also depends on the parrotlet. I think that one thing that you have to take into account is I think you make the decision and you do your very best for your parrot. For example, I give fresh vegetables. The mix of a balanced diet, I think, goes a long way towards doing my very best. And then I think, for me, I try to stay on top of what the latest research may be, how I can improve their diet. And then after that, I let it go. Because, you know, things happen. I have things happen, and sometimes I lose a parrot. It just happens. I think you just do your best. Do I think that you should give your parrot pellets? My best research, my best observations, my best everything says yes. I do not believe that my parrotlets would really be healthy and happy if they were just eating seeds. Do I think my parrots are the perfect picture of health? No. Do I think they're pretty good? Yes. Parrots won't breed unless they're healthy. Now, the smaller the parrot, generally speaking, the easier they are to breed. And I have not had any problems breeding. That means that I am at least somewhat successful, because otherwise I would not have birds like Sashi here, who is a 3rd generation. So that means her parents were born here too. So, or maybe I should say hatched. So I think that if you're uncomfortable with it, you can increase the fresh vegetables and the seeds, but I would still make my parrotlets diet at least 20 to 25% of their diet, at least. So I think that you make the very best decision and you watch your parrot. You kind of see, watch their feather, their plumage, how does it look? If it has a pretty little glow to it, they're doing well. If it's sort of matted and a little unfluffy, that's not good. Now the hard thing is, there's like the perfect fluff and the perfect glow to them, and then there's underglow, and then there's over fluff, which is ill because they hide their illness, so they'll fluff up really like a snowman. So you kind of want to watch for that middle healthy glow, for the feathers that look good. I'm going to say that Sashi's feathers look pretty good. See how she has a little fluff? If she shook, you know how parrots shake? Like they're shaking something off, or, you know, they just shake all the time. If she shook and retained most of that fluff, that would be the overfluff. So I feel like, you know, if you watch your parrot, you can kind of monitor how many pellets should I give? Should I give them a little more? Should I give them a little less? How many fresh vegetables should I give a little more, a little less? And monitor your parrot's health in that way. Don't forget, those sunflower seeds are for you to be a Pez dispenser and give, just like a Pez toy, and give it to them as a treat, not within their cage, not within their regular diet, because that's going to make them hungry and fat, unfortunately. I hope that helps you a lot. It has been an issue that took me a while to resolve for myself, the pellets, because you do read about that, and because all the information on the internet's right, except for the fact that it's contradictory. So, now, I don't think that I would use my Tinks Parrot Relief CBD in hemp oil very often for my parrotlets. They're very little. If I used any for them, I would use 1 drop. But if I was having problems and my parrotlet was sick or had gotten injured, man, I would want this on hand, because it does offer some pain relief. I'm sure it's not as good as morphine, something like that. And sometimes I take it for pain relief. I have a friend who had rotator cuff surgery. He said nothing did anything for him, not even the meds the doctors gave him. He said he was in so much pain he couldn't even sleep at night, and that CBD was the only thing that let him sleep. So do I believe in it as a pain relief? My friend, he's a trusted word to me, so I believe it. And when my parrots have anything happen, like somebody bites them or they get in a fight or anything like that, it does seem to help them calm down and sort of bring their energy down and in to recuperate instead of kind of freaking out. If you're interested in getting a bottle, I consider it a very healthy thing for your healthy parrot because it supports a healthy immune system. And I consider it one of the very best first aids because it helps relieve pain. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.